Latest on the wildfires in Nova Scotia. And fortunately, there's some rainfall today in certain regions that's giving firefighters a bit of a break. It's also cooler in the area in and around Halifax. Lots of cloud cover. That helps too. But it's a challenging day on several fronts. Major wildfires are burning in different parts of the province. Our coverage begins with CTV's Jesse Thomas, who is near Halifax and has this report for us today. Jesse.
Here in Upper Tantallon, just outside the St. Margaret's Centre, which is the command headquarters for the wildfire that continues to burn here. We just heard from fire officials, and they said yesterday was an extremely grueling and hot day. It was sunny. The temperatures were up around the low 30s, and we did hear officials say that the fire did grow in size yesterday. We had last heard that it was contained for the past 24 hours or so to around 837 hectares. It has grown some, and they said they might have expected that given the hot conditions yesterday. We don't know exactly how much it's grown, but officials did say it is still considered around 50% contained at this moment. There was some rain in the forecast this morning that helped a little bit, but that has since dissipated. It's sunny again now. We're seeing the temperatures maybe getting to around 25 degrees before a cold front comes in. Everyone here is keeping their fingers crossed that we might get that rain that's in the forecast on Saturday. That could help. But yesterday the story was really all these other active fires that were burning separate from this wildfire, and it was really pulling resources from Halifax Fire in many different places. And they're hoping today that they can just continue to focus on this situation. They have some heavy machinery in there digging fire trenches now, and they also have 5 helicopters and 1 water bomber that's going to continue to work this area. But really, at the end of the day, they feel like they need help from Mother Nature. They could really use a good showering, and they're keeping their fingers crossed for that forecast to hold true for Saturday.
All right, thanks very much, Jesse. Some evacuees from Tantallon and the Hammonds Plains communities will be traveling on buses today to get to see the damage to their community firsthand.
We are continuing today with the bus. We will continue today with an opportunity for those in the affected zone to view photographs of their buildings. And we will continue with the calls to those who have not talked to anybody as yet. So this is a fluid situation.
It's still a very active fire zone. I can also say that the properties that have been damaged, it is expected that some of those properties where the homes have collapsed on themselves are still burning in the debris pile.
Fire officials say they expect this fire to burn for a while. They say the smoke is so thick, some places you can actually taste it. They are saying people should not go outside. If you have to go outside, wear a mask, but avoid doing so if you can. About 200 structures, about 151 homes included, have been destroyed in that community. Meantime, in Shelburne County, Nova Scotia, that's southwest of Halifax, 5,500 people have been evacuated due to the largest wildfire in Nova Scotia's history, and there is no rain in that region expected today.
The level of stress and anxiety is it's overwhelming at times. Like you can't focus on that, but when you do, it's like you're living somebody else's life. It makes you feel sick.
We can certainly understand that. The latest update, the fire there in Shelburne County still out of control, covering more than 20,000 hectares. Despite constant bombardment by these water bombers, air tankers with water and fire retardant, many residents don't know the status of their homes. We do know about 50 homes and cottages have been destroyed. That's the last count. We're also hearing from the Premier of Nova Scotia, Tim Houston. He's been giving us regular updates over the last couple of days with the very latest. Says everybody praying for more rain. He also says the level of damage so far is pretty devastating. In his own words, listen to this.
It's been much devastation is certainly a good way to put it. 20,000 people are currently evacuated from their homes. We've lost 200 homes. It's a devastating number for sure. 4 fires burning out of control in our province, and I think 16 fires overall. So it's been an incredibly difficult week, but the response from the firefighting teams has been absolutely spectacular. But a significant effort underway there to preserve life and save structures. And I think through it all, it's really telling that there's been zero loss of life. 0 missing persons and 0 serious injury, and that's pretty significant given the size of the evacuation and how quick the evacuation had to take place in many of these instances.
The Premier says the wildfire situation will hopefully be different by the end of the weekend and into early next week because there is going to be rain, a lot of rain tomorrow in certain regions and then light rain Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. But here's another important point. The Premier is asking people to please use their common sense and not to start fires because it's simply too volatile. And we are hearing from the Premier again. He's giving us another update. Let's go there live and listen in.
In Jim's words on the morning briefing this morning, pound the hell out of these fires. They're hitting it with everything they have. And the effort to support them with resources continues, and it's coming together, continues to come together. 60 firefighters coming from Costa Rica, 17 from New England, and then another 18 over the next few days. And of course, our neighbors have been absolutely remarkable. Newfoundland has sent firefighters, and those water bombers that have been here all week, they're from Newfoundland. New Brunswick is here with water bombers, and now also a base for fire retardant material, PEI with firefighters and hose, Ontario with hose. Thank you to Premiers Fury, Higgs, King, and Ford, and I've heard from premiers across the country. And I have to say, it means so much. The national system of provinces helping provinces is working. For one, D&D has committed firefighters for the sustained attack stage, which will give our firefighters a much-needed break when that time comes. There's also a list of 140 Nova Scotians. That list is a growing list of names of volunteer firefighters from around the province that have stuck their hand up in the air and said, we can come and help. There's a process for working through that and mobilizing them as well. So everyone is digging deep. They're digging deep knowing that a stunning number of homes have been lost. And they're digging deep despite the fact that many of these fighting the fires and responding to the fires are evacuees themselves. And it's absolutely heartbreaking. I know many of you who have been evacuated in the Tantallon area are starting to receive news about the status of your home. If the news is the worst case scenario, I'm so sorry. And for those of you who are waiting patiently for information as to when you can get in to your home, even if it's for an hour, hopefully that's getting close, and the rain would certainly help. For those in Shelburne, as the crews identifies homes that have been lost, we will work shoulder to shoulder with our municipal partners, the wardens and the municipalities, to get that information to residents just as soon as possible. And in some cases, this may have even started. But through all this despair, through it all, 0 deaths, 0 missing persons, 0 serious injuries. This says a lot about the professionalism of the first responders that are leading the response. No lives lost, but an absolutely breathtaking amount of damage and many, many lives turned upside down. And I want everyone to know that everything that can be done is being done. There are thousands of heartwarming stories of people helping people. That's the Nova Scotia way, and it's shining through. I've also spoken to business owners who have businesses in the evacuation zones, and they have some immediate needs. So today I'm announcing that small businesses in the evacuation zones can apply for a one-time grant of up to $2,500 to help offset the costs of unanticipated business closures. This program will open on Monday. Everything happening in this province is about people helping people and government helping where it can. When the team leading the efforts asks for help, we do what we can. You've been seeing a lot of Scott and Dave on these calls, and we love those guys. They're absolutely incredible. But beside them is an entire team at DNRR and at the command center and across the first responder agency network, and they are incredible. They're absolute pros. I heard this morning that one of the helicopters was doing 50-second turnarounds yesterday, dropping and filling nonstop, 50-second turnarounds. It's absolutely unbelievable. Our job is to support these folks, and the province-wide fire ban to mitigate risk was in response to their ask, limiting movement in the woods to mitigate risk. It's because they asked. They hire fines up to $25,000 to stop illegal burning. It's because there was an ask, and I understand fines are being issued. In the Windsor area, there was a concern about access to water to fight fires. So we acted on that to get the lake filled. The lake is filling up. When they ask, we do everything we can to respond. We support these experts with everything they ask for because they are the ones that can knock these fires down. And if we support them, we can get through this sooner. And the sooner the evacuations can be lifted. They're the experts. We're lucky to have them. But we also need some weather. Nova Scotians are glued to the weather forecast more than ever. We need rain. Hopefully that rain comes in sufficient amounts this weekend. But hang in there, everyone. We're together in this, and our hearts are with you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Premier. And now I would like to turn it over to His Worship, Mayor Mike Savage. Go ahead, Mayor.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Heather, Premier, and folks on the call. I particularly want to acknowledge my municipal council colleagues and leaders who are doing so much in their community. Yesterday was a difficult day. On top of the wildfires here in Halifax, we had multiple flare-ups and new fires that our fire and emergency crews responded to quickly. There are many mourning the loss today of the historic Wagwalter Club, the main building in the south end of the city. It's hard to believe. I'm happy to report that there were no burn violation calls last night, so I think the message is getting out to people. Please, please don't burn. That's a bit of good news, and I want to thank everybody who's continuing to follow the province-wide fire ban and the woods ban. We truly do appreciate your cooperation. It's keeping people and it's keeping emergency personnel and property safe. In terms of the latest on the fires, I'm joined by Deputy Chief Roy Hallett. As of this morning, Halifax Regional Fire and Emergency crews remain on scene, and they're fighting fires burning in multiple areas with more than 837 hectares in the impacted area. Crews are working hard. I think we have some stabilization. But yesterday on this call, while we were talking to you, we had fires in Fall River and in downtown Halifax, and I think in Prospect as well, Deputy Chief. The area remains an active, unpredictable, and dangerous environment. Status of evacuations. The status of the evacuation areas continue to be assessed, and updates are being provided as soon as they're available. So we are always looking every day, really every hour, at the evacuation zone to see if we can return people to their homes. Those decisions are made on the professional opinion and direction of the incident commander, who is doing amazing work. Again, I say, don't text me or any councillors. We don't make those decisions, but we're hopeful that residents will soon be allowed to return to their homes. But we will not send anybody into an area that isn't safe. We know how stressful it is for those who've been displaced, and we want you to know that we're doing everything we can to get people back home. We're asking all residents, though, to remain clear of evacuation areas and refrain from flying personal drones. It impacts the firefighters' ability to do their work. Communicating with residents. Municipal staff continue to contact residents who have registered as evacuees in the areas of significant impact. To date, staff have had phone conversations with most residents, as well as face-to-face discussions as follow-up for those whose homes have been destroyed. It's ongoing. It will take time to contact every property owner who has been affected. This is a very traumatic time for everybody impacted by these fires, and staff are working as quickly as possible to make contact. I want to acknowledge Bill Moore, our Director of Community Safety, and Deputy Chief Roy Hallett, who did a press availability this morning on this, as we heard that there were some people who weren't getting the information that they needed. We are working on this issue, and we will take any advice that we can. We do not want to add stress to anybody who is losing a home. Some residents were able to view their property today, and we're working to schedule additional site visits over the coming days for folks who've lost their homes. We have to work safely, and we have to ensure that this happens quickly, sure, but safely for certain. Victim support services and mental health supports are on site at the Canada Game Centre today. Major insurance companies are also on site and are available to speak with affected residents. There are so many people to express thanks to. Just a few today I'd like to mention, as well as all the people who are working hard on the lines. We have people behind the scenes. I visited our call center today, and there are many people who are working, whose faces you don't see, whose voices you may not hear, but they're working incredibly hard. I want to acknowledge Discover Halifax and the Hotel Association, who are stepping up to help with accommodations for those who've been displaced. I ask you, if you're looking to contact a hotel, we're told to do it directly, not to go through Expedia or other services. Not that they don't do a good job, but they don't have the information that you need to get the best rate, and also make sure that you have the accommodation that you need. And there is more information coming from Discover Halifax and the Hotel Association in the next day. Thanks as well to the many, many volunteers, businesses, and citizens who are stepping up to provide food, clothing, comfort space, pet boarding, accommodations to those who need it during this very challenging time. I want to acknowledge people like the Halifax Chamber of Commerce and Patrick Sullivan, who did so much to help us get through COVID with their leadership, who are doing the same to support businesses with this crisis. And they also made a $10,000 donation to the United Way, I believe it was, today. Our hearts go out to the people who have been most devastated by this fire, and our hearts swell with gratitude for those fighting to make sure that nobody else has to go through that. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Walalia.
Next, I'm pleased to introduce Warden Eddie Nickerson, Municipality of the District of Barrington. Go ahead, Warden.
Thank you, Heather, and thanks for the opportunity to allow me to speak on behalf of the municipality of Barrington residents. It is a trying time. It's an unprecedented time here in Barrington and Shelburne County, for that matter. We are facing the largest fire in Nova Scotia in some time, if not the all time. It's challenging to get messages out. And the messages that we want to get out to our residents is we are experiencing a fire that we've never dealt with before. We're looking at wind change. It's unpredictable. And we just would like for our residents to understand that we may have to move on short notice. So be prepared. We are going to get through this. We're as the Premier has said, and Mayor Mike Savage has said, we are in this together. It's a provincial issue. I know there is work continues to add additional resources. Very appreciative to the resources that has been added of late. Thank you, Premier. I know you and DNR and staff has worked very hard on that and continue to do so. Certainly, I don't want to forget the volunteers that are here, the Red Cross, the community itself has come together, food, clothing, lodging, people have taken others into their homes. It's a community effort. The volunteer fire department, our local volunteers here in the volunteer fire department, they've been going countless hours from 6 o'clock in the morning till 12 or 1 o'clock at night, getting back to their families and the efforts that they've put forth. We are very appreciative of that. And again, I want to remind residents, be patient and stay out of the evacuated areas. Those are the water bombers are trying to keep that fire back, and the volunteers are in there trying to save homes. So please stay out of those evacuated areas. And again, I thank you for the opportunity, and everybody be safe.
Thank you. We'll move along now. I'm pleased to introduce Warden Penny Smith with the Municipality of the District of Shelburne. Go ahead, Warden Smith.
Thank you so much for the invitation to be a part of the discussion today. It's incredibly important for people to understand how severe the situation is in the municipality of Shelburne. And I can tell you, as a community, we have certainly come together and just giving the support to each other as best that we can. I want to extend our deepest gratitude to our frontline workers, our firefighters, the Department of Natural Resources and Renewable staff, and others who are literally working around the clock to keep us safe. They are our heroes. More than 50% of our residents have been evacuated, as well as the Roseway Manor and the Surf Lodge nursing homes and the hospital and other facilities. When residents are safely evacuated, we ask that they register with the Red Cross. This ensures people can be contacted while away from home and can be reached with information on services and assistance that may become available to them. Important information on registration, comfort centers, accurate updates, supports, and other relevant information can be found on the Shelburne County East Emergency Management Facebook page, as well as the municipality of Shelburne's. Also, residents who need assistance evacuating, they may call 902-875-8407, and someone will be able to assist you. I understand that our residents are worried about their homes and their properties. And while it has been confirmed that some structures, including homes, have been destroyed and some are still threatened, I have not received firm details on the number yet. Updates will be provided as soon as we know. We will also be working very closely with the province and federal governments to ensure that when we get through this, and we will get through this, that the supports that are needed will be there for our residents. I know our residents and our community are afraid and hurting. Believe me, we all are. The wildfires in our community will have lasting impacts, and now more than ever, we need to be kind and support each other. We are Shelburne County strong. We are Nova Scotia strong, and we will get through this together. And I hope everyone continues to follow the protocols that are put in place so that we remain safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Warden. Now we'll get an update from Scott Tingley, Manager of Forest Protection.
Thanks, Heather. Good afternoon, everyone. So provincial wildfire update. To date, we're at now 209 wildfires. We do have currently 14 active fires, and 4 of those are out of control. Obviously, those out of control fires are the priority fires in terms of resourcing, and crews continue to contain small fires as they start and keep them small, and extinguish ones that have been ongoing for the last day or two. Approximate total area burn for the province is estimated at just over 23,000 hectares now. So as mentioned yesterday, we're into kind of historic in terms of recorded history. These are historic times for Nova Scotia and wildfire. And just wanted to acknowledge, the Premier's remarks there around the support. We mentioned yesterday, we're certainly seeing the results and feeling all that support, and we're hearing all the comments and messages of support that people are sending along. And just want to say we're hearing you. We really appreciate it, and it's really helping all the crews out there doing their hard work. So I'll turn it over to the Daves for the specific fire updates.
Okay, we'll go to Dave Rockwood, Public Information Officer, for an update on Shelburne. Thanks, Dave. Go ahead.
Hi, afternoon. Down here on the Barrington Fire Complex, we are sitting in the 20,515 hectare range on the Barrington Fire. We are having growth at this moment. The weather's kind of picked up on us in the last hour, and this thing has grown some teeth. We're in the process of some wind shifts, so we're working closely with all our resources to keep them safe, and then as well communicating where we have to with the municipalities on that one. So you will see anybody in the local area. You will see the unfortunately the column is back up today, quite heavy in the last hour and a half. The Pubnico fire, really glad that one's sitting at 138, which is actually down in number size since yesterday. Our crews, that's a sign that our crews have actually been able to walk around that perimeter of that. They've been doing a phenomenal job. So it's at 138 hectares, and I flew down to that one yesterday afternoon late, and it it gave me a good feeling. It was one of those, little pick-me-ups I needed. So Lake Fire, here's another one too. So that's the more accurate at 114 hectares. And again, when I flew in over that after coming back from Pubnico, I had a really good feeling of what our crews are doing. We've established a lot of dozer guard on that, and our the boys and girls in the woods are it's almost like they're running with those hoses. So today on the Barrington Fire, I've got 90 personnel, NRR staff alone working on this. The Pubnico Fire, we're sitting at 20 natural resources and renewable staff. And the Lake Fire, we're sitting with 15 natural resources. So that's a total of 125 natural resources and renewable staff down here on the Barrington complex. Of those, also I want to reach out and have a big shout out to our communication Nova Scotia staff that is here day in, day out, providing us support with our communications. Without them, we'd be really up the creek. Our EHS is on site with a small army to make sure that if something happens, they're here to take care of us, and as well as the locals. And again, I want to extend the big thanks to the municipality of Shelburne and Barrington. We are continuing to do work along the Barrington fire as well as the lake fire with our dozer guards. Again, we're going to be, today's going to test because we're going to have a full 180 wind shift, which means over time it's going to spin around and then push it back down towards that Barrington zone. Unfortunately, but we're hoping it's kind of later in the evening. I think it's by like 9 p.m. tonight, we're going to have that wind pushing that way. We have our helicopters are down here. We're unfortunately down one with mechanical issues. We're down to one CL-415 tanker at this time, and New Brunswick just unfortunately recalled their 8 water bombers, and I'm not happy to report that, but they're having something going on up in the New Brunswick area, whether it's weather or an issue they have to respond to. We're sitting here with a lot of heavy iron. We're up to 12 dozers, D8s, D6s. Those are the biggest ones we're going to get in this province. We've got 9 excavators, and one of which is a 75-ton excavator, and that's not a small feat to get that here. I believe that's 3 trucks to just ship it in. We've got 9 floats just to help coordinate getting stuff around. We've got 3 woods porters machines and 4 feller bunchers. So we're watching this afternoon, really careful. We're keeping an eye on our people, and we're working closely with municipalities and give them brief if we have to give them briefings. The last thing I really want to touch on, we need, and I'm going to be a little blunt on this, we need people to stay out of our area. If you have no business, you haven't been granted access to our exclusion zones, to within the evacuation zones, you need to stay out. We've had many occasions that they are hindering and stopping our operations from our airships. They cannot drop if you are in our area. And I'm going to be straightforward. We have lost structures because of a number of these incidents where we've had to stop our aircraft from dropping. I know I'm not typically this kind of a hard-edge person, but that's where we're at. You need to stay out. Thank you.
Important message, Dave. Thanks. We'll move on to Dave Steeves for an update on 10 Talon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Yesterday was a difficult day. It was basically the conditions that we thought we were going to see. The relative humidity was low. The winds didn't get too bad, but the fine fuels were extremely dry. So through the calculations that we take with our weather programs, we knew there was going to be some aggressive fire spread with the potential of spotting. So we actually did increase our area size. So we moved from 837 to 950 hectares. So that is an increase. The fact that we were able to keep it to the level that we did is a result of the absolute heroic efforts by the firefighters on the front lines, the HRM firefighters, the DNR firefighters, Department of National Defense. Everybody is working like a well-oiled machine around here. Communication is flowing greatly between all of the agencies on site. So I'd like to send out a big thank you to everybody for all the hard work that they've done. We still have a long ways to go, but we're getting there day by day. As for today, our relative humidity is up to around 40%, which is of not of any benefit really to fire progression. So that is working in our favor, and we're hoping for some precipitation later on. So on site today, we currently have 40 Department of Natural Resources renewable staff, over 100 HRM firefighters, 6 from the Department of National Defense, over 30 apparatus from HRM. Our air resources currently consist of 5 helicopters and 1 CL-415. We also have a bit of heavy equipment on site. We've got 11 excavators and 3 dozers, and they are continuing to work on cat guards or fire breaks. What happened yesterday was not unexpected, but we did have to reroute resources because of a lot of the other fire-related incidents that popped up. Our HRM co-workers were great to respond to things quickly, and we had to reroute some of our air resources in order to deal with that. So we were stretched, but we were able to hold the line by the fantastic work by the people on the ground. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, we'll go to Bill Lawler with the Red Cross.
All right, so we've been getting this update on the wildfire situation in Nova Scotia, bringing you the latest. There is some rainfall in the area, which is good news, but we're showing you some pictures here of the Shelburne fire in Shelburne County. Now, that is southwest of Halifax. This video just coming in, you can see some of those water bombers and fire retardant bombers that are trying to contain this fire. This fire in Shelburne County is the largest, the worst in the history of Nova Scotia, and thousands of people in that part of the province have been forced out of their homes as a precaution. Heavy equipment is being used as well to try and dig fire barriers. They're really pouring everything they can to try and contain the fire. It's already burned about 21,000 hectares, just to give you a sense of how bad things are. Now, the bad news is the weather is not good in that part of Nova Scotia right now. It is still relatively hot and there's no rain in the forecast today. However, tomorrow the situation is set to change. There is expected to be rain in that part of Nova Scotia, and that is good news. And you can see there are a lot of crews out there doing what they can. We also know that firefighters are coming in from other parts of Canada and other parts of the United States to try and help other countries, Costa Rica, for example, to try and help Nova Scotia deal with this situation. The fire going on north of Halifax in the Tantallon area, Hammonds Plains, those areas, the weather is cooperating. There is rain today, scattered showers. There's supposed to be more rain tomorrow and then through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, which is all good news as well, but it remains a very volatile situation. Let's zoom in if we can on Shelburne County. About half of that municipality's population has been forced out of their homes. The fire out of control. CTV's Sarah Plowman is standing by in Barrington County with more for us today. Sarah.
I'm here outside an evacuation center in the municipality of Barrington, where people have been coming since Sunday when they were forced from their homes. Some people who I've spoken with know that their homes have been destroyed. Others don't know and are anxious for information. But everybody here wants one thing: rain. DNRR tells me it's another hot, dry, humid day on the firefight, and we can feel it here in Barrington Passage. They say that for most of the day, the wind is going to remain in the same direction as it has been for the last several days. But later, around 5 or 6 p.m., that wind will shift directions dramatically and push smoke toward Barrington. They also say that there's forecasts for lightning and thunder, and that overnight there were reports of lightning and thunder in the valley. That's something that they are monitoring closely. There are a lot of air support, a lot of water bombers in the air dropping water on this. There's also been fire breaks put in place to try to stop this fire from spreading. And today I'm told this wind shift will test those fire breaks. Now, people here tell me as much as there's been tears shed, they've also had a lot of laughter. Evacuation centers are places for people to support one another, to get food, and really, for some of them, to find hope. It's clear that even amid all of this chaos and uncertainty, people are relying on each other to sustain themselves.